This is a HORARY chart for the question about the potential public release of Jeffrey Epstein's files. Donald Trump has signed an executive order to release them. As you know, those files contain the names of powerful people, including aristocrats, politicians, public figures, and billionaires of all colors and shapes. If that information becomes public, those people will lose their reputation and power, at the very least. The question is, will those documents be released or not? Let's look at the chart. The public wants to see those documents, right? And so does Donald Trump, or so he claims. Mercury, the ruler of the ascendant, signifies us. And so is Donald Trump signified by Mercury, because he rules House 10. However, we have no business in this story, so we can leave ourselves out of this chart without any problems. The people who do not want the files released are the people whose names are in the files and those associated with them. Those people have no connection to us, so they are Jupiter, the ruler of House 7. The Department of Justice, DOJ, is holding the files right now. The DOJ is signified by the Moon, the ruler of House 11, the second from the 10th. Here's the Moon. The Moon also represents other governmental entities that have a vested interest in this case, such as the CIA, the House of Representatives, the Senate, you name it, some members of which very likely flew on the Lolita Express. Another important significator in this story is the ruler of House 12. If you don't know what the ruler of House 12 is in a mundane chart, there is a video devoted entirely to it in this channel. Make sure to watch it. These are our hidden enemies, or the deep state, whatever we call them. They are a small group of powerful people who run the club called Earth. The fact that the DOJ has the files is eloquently described in the chart. Documents are House 3. So Mars, the ruler of House 3, signifies the documents in question. It is in the sign of the Moon. That is, the DOJ has power over Mars, as it is its dispositor. The fact that Mars and Jupiter are conjunct by Antagonists is very telling. The people signified by Jupiter are hidden, other than in those documents. The DOJ has power over the document. Great. That means that if the DOJ wants to release it, it can. However, so does Jupiter has power over the documents, as it rules Mars by exaltation, and Jupiter doesn't want them released. Who has power over the DOJ? Well, for one thing, the DOJ is in the sign of Jupiter, the people who do not want the documents released. If the DOJ will serve somebody here, it will not serve Mercury, who wants the documents released. The Moon will not do what Donald Trump wants. The Moon will do what Jupiter wants. The dynamics of disposition in the chart testify that the documents will not be released. There's another planet besides Jupiter that has power over the DOJ. That is the Sun, as the Moon is heavily combust. And you know who the Sun is. So, the club owners do not want these documents released, because they themselves are under the power of Jupiter. Of course, these are the billionaires, and they're all in the same club, Jupiter and the Sun. In fact, the Moon is about to translate light from the Sun to Jupiter. If, by any chance, we had the Moon translating light from Mars to Mercury, it would show the documents being released. But we don't have that here. The Sun doesn't want to serve Mercury. They will serve Jupiter. The Sun, Moon, and Saturn are in the detriment and fall of Mercury. We can be very literal here. They hate Mercury. The answer to the question is rather clear. The documents will not be released. Let's look further. Saturn is right inside the 7th cusp, so it's an important planet in how 7 matters. Well, analyze the context and see what sticks. I am sure Saturn describes a central player in the situation. So it is somebody or some entity that's very likely on that list. Let's go straight to the point. I say Saturn is the ruler of a foreign country, as it rules the 10th from the 9th. Very plausible, in my opinion. Saturn is probably some president, prime minister, dictator, or whoever partook in Epstein's exclusive international services. In any case, these people don't want to be exposed. Their reputation would be shattered, their power lost, and God knows what other misfortunes would come their way should they come out of hiding. However, loss of reputation is the first step, so we are dealing with the second house from the seventh. Venus, the natural ruler of women, is located on the second from the seventh cusp. It opposes Saturn and the seventh cusp by Antagonists. Not only that, but Mercury is separating from that opposition, which is a very interesting detail. Their names, too, are in that list, clearly shown by Venus being ruled by Mars. Notice how many planets exalt Venus, including Mercury. Releasing these files would be the most significant loss of face related to forbidden sex in recorded history. The novel is not over yet. This situation is much more nuanced than the pundits or Nabokov himself would have wanted us to believe. Trump is in House 7, in the sign of Jupiter. If he really wants to release these documents, what the heck is he doing under the power of these people and exalting Venus? He should be in his own sign, on the ascendant. Either Trump is really naive, which I don't think he is, or he has really learned how to become a politician and is engaged in a power game with his opponents. Or this is a PR stunt to win the hearts and minds of the truth seekers. Very clever, only Mercury is equipped to do that kind of thing. Mercury is on the edge of influence from Neptune here, about 4 degrees. This Mercury gives me the picture that Trump is making a public case that he wants this and that to be released, but he knows full well that they will not be released, because these people do not want it to be released. And Mercury serves these people. The fact that Mercury and Jupiter are in positive mutual reception by sign adds insult to injury. They are friends, basically. And we know they're friends. Many of Donald Trump's friends are on that list. Possibly Trump himself is on that list. Mercury conjunct with the North Node tells us that whatever comes out of this situation will be favorable to Donald Trump. The fact that the documents will not be released is not a surprise to me. If some names do become public, there will be a handful of scapegoats that can be sacrificed. The people that many of us know and hold in high regard in our society will not come out. Jupiter and the Sun win again. For those interested in mundane horary astrology, check out the other videos on this channel and the links to my website in the description below. Thank you for stopping by. See you next time.